Really quick, everybody, this entire video will be timestamped, so if you don't want to watch whole video and just get straight into a different topic, please check the pinned comment or the chapter bar right down below you. Again, this entire video will be timestamped, and I'd appreciate you guys watching whatever part that you like. If you're sticking around, guys, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels, and welcome back to our complete betting guide for UFC on ABC5. Guys, this is a very, very strong card. We are going to go through my confident picks, underdog opportunities, fights that you should avoid betting on, my lock of the week, and my official bets. We're going to close out the video. Like I said, guys, timestamps are there if you'd like to use them. Also, one more thing before we get into it, you'll have to ignore my hair right now because I was just playing Fortnite for 2 hours. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Starting off with the confident pick, Zhalgas Zhumagulov. Now, guys, I was very hesitant, okay? I was very hesitant to throw this in my confident picks. If you want to talk about confident picks, I believe the matchup is a confident pick. I've been talking about this last week. I talked about it again in my video yesterday, breaking down the entire card. I worry about Zhalgas going to a decision no matter how hard he beats down Joshua Van, and it being a decision loss for him. The judges do not like this guy, and this guy has been outspoken about how much he doesn't like the judges, how much he's angry at them on all that. I think that could come back and bite him in the butt. So keep that in mind. However, he's taking on a guy in Joshua Van who is brand new to the UFC, coming in on short notice, taking on Zhalgas Zhumagulov, and while his record may be deceiving, guys, his skill set is all there. Joshua Van will want to take this fight to the ground, but I believe Zhalgas will have all of the tools to be able to weather the storm or anything that Joshua Van could present him. He's a very, very good on-the-ground fighter. That's probably going to be the game plan. I believe he's just going to breeze through this fight. I really do. So in a world where this does go to decision, I believe it will be dominant enough where Zhalgas will come out with the win. The next confident pick, guys, and this one's almost one that I honestly didn't include myself either because this one is just more of a gut feeling. I see Neil Magny and Philip Rowe getting into the octagon, and Neil Magny just having one of those Neil Magny performances and using his all-around game. While we've seen Philip Rowe, he's had really nice pressure, really nice striking, coming off of 3 really nice wins. Neil Magny has that all-round game plan where he'll be able to dictate where the fight goes. If he gets some problems on the feet, I believe he'll be able to take it to the ground. I believe he'll hold him up against the fence. If he has any problems whatsoever with Rowe's striking, plus Neil Magny's not a guy that really gets rocked in the striking, and I sometimes question Rowe's cardio. We have all of this stuff, in my opinion, is leading Neil Magny to win. I think that Neil Magny pretty much, he's one of those guys that beats most people outside of the top 10. Because if you want to take a look at his last 2 losses, it was against Gilbert Burns and Shavkat Rakhmonov. They both beat him in the same way, and Philip is not going to come in with that game plan at all. It seems like you need to be a really big, really strong, hold Neil Magny, kind of stop it. And while we have seen him lose other fights, that was recent. And other than that, I think Neil Magny will do what Neil Magny usually does. A very nice all-round game, getting a very nice decision win. I have Neil Magny as a confident pick over Philip Rowe to win this fight. My last confident pick on the card, guys, is going to be Randy Brown. He's taking on Wellington Turman. Now, Randy Brown, of course, coming off of a really hard loss against Jack Della Maddalena, but that's nothing to be ashamed of. Absolutely nothing. Randy Brown is, like I was just talking about Neil Magny, he's probably one of those guys that beats everybody outside of the top 15, to be honest with you. Randy Brown, something to note is he has a very nice 78-inch reach, and that is a significant advantage over a guy in Wellington Turman, who we have seen struggle in the past. I believe this is going to be a fight where Randy Brown keeps it on the feet, keeps him at length, picks him apart, possibly finds a KO. The only thing to note is Wellington Turman has been putting in really nice work with Glover Teixeira and Alex Pereira, so I'm waiting for him to improve, but I don't think that's just going to be yet. Of course, he's coming off of a loss against Andre Petroski. I believe he's going to be on a 2-fight skid after this. I really, really like Randy Brown. I think he'll be able to keep him at range in this fight. That's why he's a confident pick. Now, guys, let's talk about some underdog opportunities. My first underdog for you is going to be Bruno Silva. Now, something I do need to note, okay, guys, and this is very important because in my last video, I got a couple comments telling me that my underdog picks were wrong. These underdog opportunity sections, they are not picks. I'm actually picking Brendan Allen to win this fight. This whole section is if you are looking for an underdog, these are one of the underdogs that I believe has more of a chance of winning than the rest of the underdogs on the card, okay? These are not picks. It's just these guys are significant underdogs, and I believe the odds should be a little bit closer. So if you are looking for an underdog opportunity, these fighters are there. Starting off with Bruno Silva. Like I said, I believe he's going to lose that fight. But with Bruno Silva, and I'm looking at Betway right now. This is the app that I use. As of right now, Bruno Silva is a 250 underdog. I think the odds should be a little bit closer than that. Brendan Allen has looked really, really good, but Bruno Silva is a very, very, very strong guy, and he has that power that he could really knock out anybody. And I believe after that Alex Pereira fight, people have been counting him out. And of course, it didn't look good because he got another loss after that, but he came in against Brad Tavares, got a very nice, solid win. You can never count a guy that is like Bruno Silva. And that's why I believe he is an underdog opportunity. But at the end of the day, I am picking Brendan Allen to win this fight. So just keep that in mind. The opportunity is there if you are looking for an underdog. The next underdog opportunity I have for you is actually Jillian Robertson. At the time of recording this video, Jillian Robertson is a 205 underdog. I absolutely love the momentum that Jillian Robertson has been on. These two performances have been dominant. They've been slick. They've been full of technique. And we know she has been working even harder in her jiu-jitsu. This is a little bit of a close fight, okay, because we don't know if Tabitha Ritchie will be able to out-grapple Jillian Robertson. But with Tabitha Ritchie's performances, it was like, okay, she got a win. That's how I looked at it. She got a win. She could be a contender. Jillian Robertson, with these two performances, they have actually wowed me. And that's why I don't mind Jillian Robertson's chances here. I'm kind of leaning towards picking her to win the fight. It's one of those like women's MMA fights where it's like anything can happen, really. But I really, really like her as an underdog in this fight. Jillian Robertson, I think, has a very solid chance of winning, and people are counting her out. Now, guys, before we get into Lock of the Week for this week, we have only one fight to avoid betting on today, and that is going to be Tatsuro Taira versus Clayton Rodriguez. Reason being, I do not believe one little bit that this should be a minus 375 favorite. Actually, I can look at it right now, what I have. Let's see, Tatsuro Taira. Okay, so Clayton Rodriguez is a 330 underdog at the moment, so kind of like the same thing. That is unbelievable to me. These two guys have so much hype on them. They are so good. They are so well-rounded. And the only reason why I'm picking Taira to win this fight is because that jiu-jitsu option is there. However, both guys have been looking fantastic. This is one of the matchups on the card that I absolutely cannot wait to see. Both guys have been looking absolutely fantastic, okay? Fantastic. Coming into the UFC, love them. I cannot wait to see this fight. And this is a very, very close fight. People are absolutely clowning out Rodriguez here and his chances to win. This is such a close fight that I'm not even really like, okay, here's an underdog opportunity for you. I'm saying just stay away from this completely. Betting on this fight, in my opinion, is like throwing your money on red. Completely. You want to take, like, you could even argue that CJ Vergara fight for Clayton Rodriguez was a win in his favor. These guys could be coming in, steamrolling all of their opponents, okay? I really, really, really don't think you should bet on this fight. I'm staying far away from it. Moving on to Lock of the Week, guys, and it's got to be Ilia Topuria. It's got to be. I also have had a couple comments on my other video talking about where I'm picking favorites for Lock of the Week. Lock of the Week for my videos here, they are just going to be fighters that the fighter that I believe is as close to 100% winning as you can get, and I believe on this card it is Ilia Topuria. Josh Emmett coming off of a rough loss. The only problem with this is Josh Emmett has that fight-changing power. He could catch Ilia Topuria with it. A world exists where that happens. But this is about as close to a lock as you can get in Ilia Topuria. The dude has not had a close fight yet. The dude is scary good. Scary good. How many people do we see on the come up where they are scary good? They are intimidating. Like, they are just absolutely annihilating people in their way. I believe he's going to continue doing that. Josh Emmett, somebody who's 38 years old, who knows if his heart's still in the game. He's coming off of a very, very rough loss to Yair Rodriguez. And that could really kill his momentum. But even before that, you want to take a look at his last two fights. He lost those last two fights. Most of the world believes he lost to both Calvin Kattar and Dan Ige, myself included. I believe Josh Emmett is on a 3-fight losing streak, and I believe he's fighting somebody in Ilia Topuria who is one of the hungriest and scariest contenders out there. I believe Ilia will continue to do what he's been doing, and he will run through Josh Emmett in this fight. That's why he's my lock of the week. Now, guys, before I get you out of here, I am going to go through with my official bets for this card so far, and I will be placing more, but for right now, I have a 4-fight parlay with Trevor Peek, Randy Brown, Zalgaz Zumagulov, and Neil Magny. All fighters that I believe are confident to win. However, something that I didn't mention in this video was Trevor Peek. The problem is Trevor Peek isn't a confident pick in my opinion because of the way he fights and the way he can just get caught. That day is coming for him, but I don't think that's going to be a problem yet. I believe Trevor Peek is going to win this fight, but I'm not overly confident in him, but I did like the odds he was at for me to add him to this parlay. My $5 gets just over $30. My next parlay is Zalgaz Zumagulov and Ilia Topuria. I believe that both these fighters are going to win the fight. Nothing too much else to say about that one. And then I have one that I didn't talk about, in Cody Brundage. I like Cody Brundage in this fight because he's fighting somebody on short notice who has just seen a horrible hole in his game. And Cody Brundage is a very good wrestler, and the hole in the game of Dumas is the ground game. Got completely exposed, and I believe Cody Brundage, while he is coming into this fight on short notice, I believe that he will be able to weather whatever storm comes at him. A little bit of a risky bet in my opinion. That's why, again, I didn't really mention him. And I also have Neil Magny, who I believe to be a confident pick on this card. I really like these two together and what the odds are paying out for here. And the last bet, guys, the last bet that I made, it's going to bite me in the butt. It's Jillian Robertson. I have bet so many times on women's MMA, and I keep saying I'm done betting on women's MMA. However, I just have been, like I mentioned in the video, guys, I have been so impressed with her in her last two fights. Love the momentum she's on, and I love that she's an underdog. I'm hopping on this underdog opportunity, but I understand this one might bite me in the butt. But there are, as these fights continue and the props begin to drop throughout the week, there are going to be a few more bets that I will be placing. I'm a big fan of the over 1.5 rounds. I usually, what I do is I bet those separately. Like, let's say I have 3 fights that I want to bet for a 1 around half. I bet them all separately, and I also parlay them all together, because usually when I do that, usually it works out. But of course, I can't include this in the video because the props aren't out yet. What I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be doing 1.5 rounds for it to go over with Zalgav Zumagulov versus Joshua Van. I usually do it for women's fights, but I'm going to be ignoring Tabitha Ritchie. I'm going to go with Mateusz Rebecki and Loki Razdabov. I believe that one will be going over 1.5 rounds. Also, Neil Magny versus Philip Rowe. And then I'm going to go with Amanda Hebos and Macy Barber. All those fights I am going to be betting to go over 1.5 rounds. I feel very comfortable with that, with the only one being maybe Razdabov could get them out of there in the first round. But I don't think that's going to happen. The possibility's there, but I think it's safe enough to bet, in my opinion, at least. So those are all my bets, and those are the future bets I'm going to be placing. I also probably am going to hop on, like, yeah, I'll bet Ilia Topuria and one of those fights to go over 1.5 rounds. And maybe I'll jump in on LFA a little bit. I love watching LFA. So when those drop, I'll check it out. But guys, let me know what you thought about all of this down below. And thank you so much for watching. If you are new here and you enjoy the content, please consider hitting the like button. It would help out the channel a ton. And subscribe if you are brand new. If you want to continue watching the Clenbat channel, there'll be 2 videos on screen for you right now. Check them out. They're pretty great. I will see you there or in the next video, guys. Take care.